You already know. Time be flying. We already in August. I just had my 40th birthday. So it's like looking at life from a different perspective, right? Right. I put on the glasses that made me see the world as like an elder for real. And it's wild because I'm looking at the youngins like, yo, these youngins is crazy, dog. What's wrong with these fools? You know what I'm saying? It's like they throw their whole life away. And you know what I mean? I talk about it a lot about how music is impacting the youth and got them out here acting a fool and they lost, you know what I'm saying? But hitting my midlife at 40, I guess, I plan to live a little bit longer than 80. But being at what they call midlife, I could still kind of relate to being in my youthfulness, you know what I mean? But I feel like I definitely understand what the elders were saying, what the old people were saying when I was young, when they were saying like the music is trash, and they were saying like, these kids, they self-destructive, they don't got no respect. And it's crazy because everybody's crazy. It's like the world is crazy. And it made me feel like, am I crazy or am I the same one? You know what I'm saying? And I finally come to the conclusion that a lot of people ain't very intelligent, you feel me? And these people are having children. And this is the world we live in. But back when I was young, bro, there was some really smart kids in school. Like some really, really smart kids. Or maybe I was just dumb, but I don't feel like I was the dumb one, yeah? I just felt like, school just was teaching a lot of bull. And I realized that even as a youth, I was like, man, this is dumb. So now I'm 40. I took my kids out of school and they socialize well, but the biggest mistake I made, is giving my kids a device. Giving them a phone or a tablet, they change. They change. And as a grown person who remembers being young and being out, playing, have a good time, there's something that these devices is doing that's changing the way these kids think. And it's like I got to see it firsthand. My kid's gonna be 14 in 2 days. And ever since I gave him that phone, I'm trying to tell you, it's like they don't even think about anything that has to do with real life because their real life is in that device. Yo, what's up? And when I go out and about in the world, I see a lot of people faces stuck in their devices. They stuck in their phones. So they can't interact the way they're supposed to. And it's like they don't have the understanding. Yo, hi, was a whole bunch of bots or something. They don't have the understanding to know that, man, we gotta talk, interact with each other, show each other appreciation, even if it's somebody who hold the door when they just walk in looking in from, oh, thank you, man, thank you. Every now and again, you get somebody who will ask, hey, how are you doing today? How's your day? And it's almost like a breath of fresh air. And like I said, now that I'm 40 and I see life from both perspectives, I understand because I used to be in my own shell. I used to be an introvert and didn't really want to have a small talk with people. But then now I realize that, even somebody asking me how I'm doing today, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling lovely. I had a great day. Beautiful session today. I do personal training, so I get to interact with people a lot. And there's a lot of older people who come in and they want to talk. Some of them are retired, you know what I mean? And that's their only interaction, getting out the house, seeing people, and being able to ask people how they doing, hold the door open for somebody and smile and get a little short, small talk conversation. Because a lot of people are living in loneliness, and then they get out and they get trash customer service. They gotta deal with rude people behind the counter. Everybody's got road rage, driving fast and in a hurry. Everybody's so angry. So it's nice when people like, you know what I'm saying, ask, how's your day? How's it going? Or maybe it's just me remembering when we used to walk and smile and look up, and not everybody was looking down at their phone, and just to enjoy being alive, enjoy seeing other people smiling with their families and stuff like that. Now you go to the park, dads that have their families, and yo, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it too, paying more attention to my device than I am my kids. But time flies like that, man. I remember when my kids used to be little and hey dad, look at this, dad, now. Now, you know, I can take them outside, like, dang, they got bit by the same thing. They lost motivation. I'm like, you guys want to do this? I don't care. You want to go here? I don't care. You want to go have fun today? Yeah, that's all right. I'm like, dang, man, where my kids go? But then when they be on that game, when they had that phone, they, oh yeah, this is so great. And they'll sit in front of the game all day. And I'm like, I try to pull them aside, like, son, don't get me wrong. I love playing GTA. You know what I'm saying? I love playing Madden. But, like, it's a real world out here. I want you to be a part of it. And they just look at me like, Dad, you old school. You don't know what's going on. And I'm like, dang. I'm trying to wake you up, boy. I'm trying to put you on the game, because one day you're going to want to have a life. And they're going to be, like, stuck. They're not going to be able to interact. They're not going to be able to walk up to a girl and say, hey, how you doing? How's your day? I like your shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't want you to be like that. I want you to be able to go and flourish and be a normal person before the Matrix. So what else do we do? He said, don't keep saying it. Hold on. Yes, we know what you're saying. You have to keep saying it. For real, I do have to keep saying it. Because repetition is how we get it to sink in. So when you go to sleep tonight, you're going to think about the nigga who kept saying, yo, you got to be normal. You got to be normal. You got to be normal. Snap out of the Matrix. Wake up. Because they bombard you with negative information. They bombard you with stupid reels. And when you scrolling, you keep seeing it over and over and over again. So if you hear, you're going to continue to hear it over and over and over again. Because guess what? That's how it is. Repetition is the father of mastery. But, you know, like I said, man, you got to make sure you grab yourself a book, you sit down, you read, you drink your water. You got to make sure that you do things differently than what everybody else is doing. Because if not, you're going to turn into a zombie. You're going to turn into an NPC. And the NPCs, they out here thriving. They got a whole community. They do parades and stuff, you feel me? They living in Delulu land. And it's easy to conform, you know what I mean? But we need to renew our minds and do things of a different way. And I see a whole bunch of people allowing the same patterns to continue to flourish in their house. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough because even when I give my kids the phone, it be like, everybody else got a phone, everybody else playing the game, and I don't want to be the only one to come down on them, but I don't want them to fall victim to what everybody else is doing. It's a saying, if everybody else is going a particular direction, if everybody else is doing something, man, you got to do the opposite. Because if you're doing what everybody else is doing, you know you're doing something wrong. You know you're doing something wrong because everybody else is leading themselves to the slaughter because everybody on the same brainwave. It's like when you break out the Matrix and you wake up, you can't, what's it called? You can't take off the glasses once you see, what's the name of that movie? Day something. I can't remember. Put it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, everybody sees at some point that the veil is gonna be lifted or has been lifted. Like, we living in clown world. Escape this joint. Because if not, time gonna go by so fast that you gonna almost give up. You're gonna almost give up. You're gonna look back and be like, dang, I'm 20, man. Dang, I'm 30, man. I might as well keep doing what I'm doing. That's how you see people like older and their health is declining, and we be looking like, how did we get there? How do we get to the point to where, you know, we wheelchair bound and, you know, your health can change at any time. Real fast. Real fast. So I'm always like, man, we gotta lock in. Lock in and make a change and make one for the best. And if you got kids, teach them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these kids, they don't know nothing, dog. They don't know nothing. If their friends say, yo, if you jump off a bridge, you can fly, they gonna take off, you know? Sit down, talk to your peoples, tell them you love them.